Hello, welcome to the channel. I'm host Evelyn Stokes, and we are your all-inclusive community resource for helpful tips and information. Today we have Tina Theeke. Welcome, Tina.
Thank you.
You are the director of Farmington Community Library.
That's
is that
right.
correct?
Yes, it is.
Okay, it's a pleasure to have you here today.
Thank you.
Tell me a little bit about what your responsibilities are, what you're charged with as the director of Farmington.
As the director of a district library that serves the two communities, I'm responsible for operations, facilities operations, branch personnel, and the services that we all enjoy. And I am supervised, if you will, by a board of directors with 4 members from each community.
So the Farmington Hills Library, now where exactly is that located?
Okay, we have 2 locations, one in Farmington Hills, which is our administrative office, and that is next to the Farmington Hills Post Office on 12 Mile, and a smaller branch, which is right next to City Hall in downtown Farmington.
Okay, so let's get a little bit of business facts to the side, because
Sure.
something I'm particularly excited about. Last November, we voted in the
Yes.
Farmington community to keep the millage going, and the library is still in existence, and we're still running. How important was that, really briefly?
Okay. Well, it is. We have 2 millages. We're funded, first of all, 90% of our funding comes from property tax revenues. And we have 2 millages, a summer millage and a winter millage. The winter millage would expire in December of 2012, will be our last millage. This is what we went to the voters for. And they approved it by 80%. It represents about 37% of our budget. So we really needed to know what was happening with that source of income so we could plan in the event that it didn't pass. But we're delighted that it did, of
We are,
course.
so am I personally.
Good, good.
Good, good. So tell me a little bit about the positive impact that the library has had on people who have been negatively impacted by the economy.
Sure. During this economy, first of all, we are busier than we ever have been. We have over 700,000 visits to both of our buildings every year. We circulate over 1.3 million items. And during rough times, we have more people using our computers and our job search services. People online, we have high-speed internet. People might bring in a laptop to work from the laptop. They apply for jobs, do resumes, look for new careers. Not just that, but during budget cuts, families and seniors and others, of course, are looking for ways to make their money go further. So they're more apt to borrow a book or a DVD from the library rather than buy it. So I think there's a saying in poor times or in rough times with no money, you're better with libraries than having money and no libraries. So.
Yeah, the great thing about libraries is that they're free.
That's right. Well,
That's
they're prepaid, actually.
treasure.
Your tax dollars pay for them, but there's no extra charge for all the things that we provide.
So during the age of the internet, how does the
Right.
library remain a resource for the community?
Well, our mission hasn't changed, so we're absolutely as critical, I believe, in the age of the internet. Our mission is to facilitate independent learning, and it's also to create readers from early childhood throughout one's life. And so our focus on children, especially in literacy, is important. We know that children are made readers on the laps of their parents, and so we do programs to support the learning and the literacy of young children. And we have programs for kids of all ages, but especially for those early years from birth through 5 years old, when it's so important to develop the skills that they need.
And it's really good because, of course, kids have their own little section in the library.
That's right, that's right.
And there are reading times, correct? Can you tell
Right,
us
we
a
do.
little bit about
And you
that?
know, I wanted to, if I can just read a couple
Sure,
of the,
that's great.
Some of the story times we have. We have a baby time for babies through 16 months. We have a Little Me program for 16 to 2 years. We have a terrific twos program. We have a preschool story time from 3 to 5. And for all of these, we have reading lists that are available to help kids or parents help their kids or grandkids select books that are the best books. And if anyone could go to either library and pick up those lists. There's one booklet, like a Curious George booklet with lots of activities and books. And then there's a book, 101 books all preschoolers would like to read. and those are available. So
that's great. So you serve kids of all ages,
we do,
of course.
yes.
Do you have summer programs for children?
Yeah, and actually one of our most popular programs is the Summer Reading Club. It's during the months of June and July, so that kids keep reading during the summer and don't neglect that activity.
Okay.
Very popular.
So you keep that learning going, you help parents keep that learning process going throughout the entire year.
That's our goal,
okay,
yes.
so I'm sure a lot of parents really love that part of the program.
Right.
So what are some other resources? I know there are several resources at the library for kids and adults. What are some other resources in the library that people in the Farmington community might not be aware of?
Okay. Well, for children, we have, if both buildings have their own unique character, but both of them have activities for kids to use their motor skills and to explore and to learn. And that is activities, games, interactive games, spin browsers, computers with children's games. In our adult section, we have collections like the Grantsmanship Collection. We're a member of the Grantsmanship Foundation, and as a result we have databases and grantsmanship tools. We do classes on that. We have a large print collection for, as the demographics are changing, more and more people would like a little larger letters for their books. We have international book collection that you may not know about. We have international films as well. Let's see, well, we have computers we mentioned before that are in use much of the time. Wireless connections, people bring their laptops in and take advantage of our high-speed internet. Oh, what else do we have? Someone might be surprised to know that years ago people could not bring beverages or food into a library. Now at our main library we have a cafe.
Oh, yes. And
the branch doesn't have space for a cafe, but people are welcome, of course, to bring coffee and beverages they purchase in downtown Farmington. Okay. So libraries have changed a lot.
They have. So you have the high-speed internet, up-to-date computers. You have databases that help you search for jobs and help you search for grants. So really, if I were looking for a job, or I started a new company, or I had a great idea and I wanted to make it flourish with some funding for a grant possibly, I could do all my research at the library.
Absolutely. And I neglected to mention we have an entrepreneur collection that years ago was started by the Chamber of Commerce, gave us seed money for that. We also have a lot of genealogists in the community, and we have a heritage room that has both databases as well as actual physical archived materials from the past. And this is unique to Farmington Hills. It's our history. We have digitized Farmington observers going back to the 1800s, which is years ago kids would come into the library. They'd have an assignment on a historic house in Farmington or some event. Now, from home, they can dial in remotely, go to this heritage collection, look at the digitized materials and do their homework without even entering our building. So this is another way certainly libraries have changed.
Okay, so you can do your history lesson from home, but you still using the Farmington Hills Library as a resource.
We're organizing the materials and many reference tools now that one used to come into the building for. We can only buy them digitally. They're not available. But the beauty of that is both our branch and our main library, regardless of the size of the library or the staff, people have access to the same materials, which is great.
Right, because actually I've returned books. I've returned it at the smaller community library. This is in downtown Farmington, but I had borrowed it from the larger library.
We have a delivery every day between the two buildings, transporting materials so that you can put holds on books at one library. They'll be waiting for you at the other if that's what you would like.
And really, you could also access the database for searching for books from home, right?
Yeah, you just need a library card, and anyone who lives, works, or goes to school in Farmington would have access to a card that lets them check out materials. They use that to log into the computer. They can use that to reserve, they can't reserve, but to use a small study room, group study room, and to access these databases we're talking about. And e-books will be another thing that.
Okay, so if I'm a member of the community and I was unable to physically go to the library, what other ways can I access some of your services?
Okay, well, for those people who are homebound, and it might be seniors, we have an outreach program for seniors that we visit 25 different nursing homes and senior centers. And at those, we bring books along. We bring some small programs, and it's done by, we have one outreach librarian, And she has, though, a core of volunteers. We have over 15 volunteers who go with her, help her deliver the books, and also deliver them. They're called book buddies, and they deliver them to people in the community, either who are temporarily or permanently homebound. And so it's a great service. And another one we have is for the other end of the age sphere is children, young children who are in nursing, not nursing homes, that was the other end, nursery schools and daycare centers. And we take books along to those centers for the kids to use there. And that's because we know that single parents, as well as when both parents are working outside of the home, it's hard to get to a library with all the other things going on. So we want to make sure that we have books there so that everyone is served in our community.
So the library, not only are you a significant part of the community, but you also have a strong outreach initiative that you constantly pursue throughout the year.
And we can do that because, in one way, because of the use of and the contributions of volunteers in our community. Very talented people who, and that's just one way that they help us.
Yeah, I've always noticed that. That's another aspect of the library that I really respect is the librarians.
Right. Okay.
They work so hard, and they really care about how well the library is
And I'm
run.
so glad you mentioned that, because as budgets are tighter and as we cut hours, we cut 4 hours during the weekend, and we've also cut the extra hours for staff. People work harder, but they have the same goal, and that's to be the best and to make sure that everyone leaving the library has fulfilled their information needs. And so I'm glad thank you for bringing that up.
Yeah, it's really important to work with the librarian because they're really helpful when you're there.
Yeah.
So a few minutes ago you mentioned Nooks. You mentioned that technology, book technology like Nooks and Kindles.
Right.
How has that impacted the library?
Well, that's a good question. It's one that as more and more people get their Kindles or their Nooks or any kind of mobile device and start purchasing books and expecting books. People have asked, do those people stop coming to the library? And they absolutely don't. I mean, most of them, most of them cannot have access to enough books on their Kindle. So it's going to be a while before people stop coming to the library.
Okay.
Part of our mission, though, is to deliver service when formats differ and when technology improves. And so our challenge is going to be to make sure we have more ebooks. We do have an ebook collection, about 10,000 books that are available. We've done this through a consortium of other public libraries. We've ordered ebooks. They're available on our homepage, and you can click on books and ebooks, and you can find how to download them to the device you use. We had a program about 2 weeks ago on this topic, just introduction about ebooks. 90 people attended, which is an amazing number of people for an hour program. So we know this is an area that's not going away, and we need to be part of that.
Yeah, I mean, it makes sense that the library is adapting to the upcoming technology because we're all used to our computers. We're on our phones and our computers every day, so maybe
that's right.
We could just read our library books on our iPhones, right?
Sure, you can. Yes, you can. And we are trying to make it convenient for people to use their phones, their mobile device, to access our catalog with the special format that is designed for that small screen.
Okay, so you've mentioned so much is happening at the library right now. Where can I go if I want to find out information for children programs or upcoming technology or databases that may help me in my career?
Well, one of our regular communication channels is called the Info Exchange, and it is a newsletter that we publish 3 times a year. And that we've been trying to distribute through bulk mail to all households in Farmington and Farmington Hills. We also post that on our website, so it is there for you to browse as you a place for you to come, and that's where we mention all the programs. We also, though, if you'd like to have advance notification of that, we're happy to sign you up, and when the new edition comes out, then you would be up to date. But if you go to our website, we like to promote it. It's www.farmlib.org. That's farmlib.org. On that page, right front and foremost are all the programs, not all the programs, but programs we're featuring. And it rotates, and there's about 8 programs, and right now many of them are children's programs, but we hope that you'll make a point of either using our homepage as your homepage,
Sure.
or going there regularly, because that's where we'll let you know what's going on.
Yeah, of course, there's several adult programs that are constantly going on throughout the year. A lot of interesting programs that I've seen in the past that just any type of helpful information on, from, I don't know, how to manage your finances.
That's right. Our investment series is one of our most popular programs. People look forward to that. There's usually 6 programs on different aspects of financial planning. Another one is, you mentioned the grantsmanship. That's a limited audience, but very enthusiastic participants for that. The ones that are most popular now are like sessions that we have on topics like social networking, like how do you use Facebook, or have you ever used eBay? And there's an audience for that. It's not a long classroom setting. It's an hour or two. You ask your questions. One other I'd love for it to have people know about, because people say, why don't you have more computer classes teaching me how to use computers? And we don't have the staff to actually devote that many hours to providing a series of programs, but we do have the volunteers I talked about that are so tech savvy. We have volunteers who will schedule a time with individuals. If you call the reference desk, and you can then pick their brains, ask them what you need to know. So it's customized. If you want to know, if you're just starting and don't know anything about computers, they work with you. Or if you have a problem on Word or Excel or something else. So it's a wonderful service. Again, we can only offer because of volunteers in our community.
So that's great. That's even better, actually, than a class.
I think it is, because you get what you want to know, not what everybody, you're not sitting through things that you don't need to know.
Yeah, and if you're a little intimidated, you don't have to.
It's one-on-one.
You're not in front of the class. You can really ask the person one-on-one. It's really your show. It's really your opportunity. So how can people and members of the community support Farmington and Farmington Hills Library?
Well, certainly, first and foremost, and our community does support us through the passage of millage, because that is 90% of our revenue.
Yes.
But they can also donate. Individuals donate in memory or in honor of someone. Another great way is to be part of the Friends of the Library, which is a group that just supports us. Their membership dues and their book sales, the money that they get from those, they support our children's programs. They support special projects for us. There's kind of a dual or mutual benefit of being a friend. You're supporting the library, but at the same time, they give back, and they have a wonderful appreciation event that many people join the Friends just to attend. It's a gala. It's either the first or second Friday in June, and at that event, there's entertainment, music of some kind, plus refreshments. So it's a lovely evening, and it gathers together hundreds, literally, of library supporters. So
how can one become a friend of the library?
Well,
where would they go to find
They could either go to
information?
our homepage, and there is a section on the Friends, and click on the membership and fill that out and submit it. And while they're there, the Friends also support us through Amazon. If you buy books through Amazon, if you go to the Friends page on our library homepage, there's an Amazon link. If you click on that and order your books, the Friends receive a small donation from the commission, really, from the book. So there's just all kinds of ways in everyday life, that you can support the library.
Right. So the objective now is to go to www.farmlib.org.
Right.
Okay.
Excellent.
So we're getting all the information we need.
I hope so.
Okay. So are there any other closing thoughts about the library that you'd like us to know?
Well, I guess I would just like to invite anyone in Farmington and Farmington Hills, all of the residents who haven't used the library for a while, because either they've been busy, maybe they're recently retired and have time now, maybe they're out of a job and would need a place to work.
Sure.
Maybe they're new to the community. We invite you to come. It's not an exaggeration to say that public libraries can transform lives, because we hear about this and see people that this happens to. And so we welcome you all to come and use the resources, the books and the DVDs and the CDs and the music, the programs, and be part of the community through a book discussion group or one of our programs. And we invite you all to come. We would like that.
Thank you, Tina.
Okay.
It's been a
Thank
pleasure
you.
having you.
And we're happy to have you as such a great supporter.
I'm excited. I love the library.
Good.
It is, in my opinion, one of the best resources in the community for any and everything you want to do. So the objective here is to go explore the library.
Wonderful.
Just walk in and see what you find and see what you need. I'm Evelyn Stokes. Thank you for watching the channel. Again, we are your all-inclusive community resource for helpful tips and information. We've had the pleasure of having Tina Theeke, Executive Director of the Farmington Hills Community Library, with us today, and we hope to see you next time. Thanks for watching.